Hey everyone, Ben here and welcome to the grid at Donington Park for the first time in rFactor 2. I've got my hands on an early access code for the new British Touring Car Championship DLC, which will soon be available to everybody, and we are giving it a try out here in a 10-minute race against 19 AI featuring both of the new cars that are in the pack, last year's Toyota Corolla and Infiniti Cars. This is one of two new tracks as well, the other being Brand's Hatch. As you can see, we're already away coming through the Craner curves. We've managed to pick up 2 spots off the start, and we're going to be down the inside of another car heading into the old hairpin. We're not going to have the momentum to carry through that corner. So as I'm commentating on these race highlights, I'm also going to be giving you my honest thoughts based on this early access code, so it's not the finished product, and I've only had a limited amount of time with it, but nevertheless my early thoughts on how this new DLC stacks up. And I'm really excited and grateful to the team behind rFactor 2. As look at that one car up ahead, up on 2 wheels, just about manages to rescue it. But I'm very grateful to the devs for giving me this chance to take an early look and share my thoughts with you. As we're already coming to the end of the lap, we dive down the inside, make up 2 spots, do we know, just 1, but we're side by side with another Toyota on our inside. We give him space on the inside curb. I think he's still on my outside. I'm not running with any heads up display because I really couldn't find a configuration for rFactor 2 just yet that I like. This is my first time bringing the sim to the channel, so I decided to go with the full authentic look of no hood and just relying on what I can see and on my wits to survive these laps around Donington Park National. So what do I think of the DLC? Well, as I say, limited running that I've had, it feels very nice indeed. The car's very drivable as we get a great exit out of the old hairpin and up the hill there. We're side by side. Hopefully we've got the high ground into the right-hander. Coming up, we get late on the brakes, down into 4th gear, hug the curb, and then yes, we've made that spot up. But actually, oh, there's a little bit of contact. Classic BTCC door rubbing there, and we might lose out to Ash Sutton's Infiniti on the inside. We've got a car absolutely on his roof to the left-hand side there. It's all kicking off exactly as you tend to see in the real life championship. So we've managed to gain a place, lose a place, and then gain another place, as that Infiniti up ahead is not wasting any time. He's down the inside of another Toyota car. They're side by side through the chicane. Brilliant AI racing here in rFactor 2, I've got to say. The Toyota that I'm in drives very much as you'd expect a front wheel drive touring car to handle. Lots of off throttle oversteer through the corners. Likewise, you've got to get your head around the fact that if you feel the car sliding, your best friend is the throttle pedal. And that is unlike driving rear wheel drive cars, where if you were to apply more gas in a rear wheel drive car like the Infiniti, you are just going to further your spin. So I imagine if you're new to front wheel drive touring cars, the Toyota is going to take a little bit of getting used to. The Infiniti might feel a little bit more natural to you, but my preference is definitely for this front wheel drive car. And as I say, it feels authentic, certainly compared to the touring cars that I've driven in Race Room and in iRacing. Of course, very difficult to compare sim to sim given the different physics engines and all of the rest of it. And of course, although these are touring cars, they do belong to different classes compared to the World Touring Car Championship in Race Room and the touring cars that run in the Michelin Pilot Challenge in iRacing. We're climbing the hill and we're about half race distance here, and you can see the fighting in the pack of the AI is still going on. So I'm really confident, I think, that you're going to be able to have a lot of fun with these cars offline. And I believe there is going to be an online ranked championship coming as part of the rFactor 2 competition system featuring these cars once they're released to the general public. So that could be really interesting as well. So this is part 1 of what is scheduled to be a series of content releases as part of this British Touring Car Championship DLC, where we'll see more cars and hopefully tracks from last season's championship, and then potentially some from the current championship as well. As we're on the outside of another Toyota on our inside. He's going to stick it though, and look at that door banging, just as you see in the real life championship. He squeezes me out of space, but without putting me on the grass, and I'm going to have to try again as we come through the Craner curves down the hill. Just let off the accelerator to just let the car float through that corner. Heavy on the brakes, but not too heavy because you want to carry momentum, but we are essentially blocked off there. There was nowhere for us to go. We made a little bit of contact with the rear of the car up ahead. We're going to try and just put a bit of pressure on then into the uphill right-hander here. We're going to dive down the inside, but that's going to be a mistake. We make a bit of contact. We're nearly off fully onto the grass. I just managed to correct the car, but we've lost all of our momentum up the hill. I'm going to have at least one car on my outside. The Toyota dives around me and takes another position back. I've actually got no idea where we're running in the field. I suspect it's still towards the back of the pack. We've got one car still on our outside, but you can see in our rearview mirror there that they have to get out of it and they slow right down and drop a little bit further back. We flash forward again then a few more laps. We're coming towards the end of this race and I'm just trying to make up a final position given what I've lost out of that mistake a couple of laps earlier. We are on the outside then climbing the hill, and all of this I think is just great evidence of the sort of racing that the sim provides in the British Touring Car class. And I think that is looking like it's going to be a marriage made in heaven, actually. The contact collision physics look really good, the AI looks very competitive, and will give you a race. It all feels very authentic. So far, so good on this early access release to this DLC. As we're coming down the start-finish straight once again, then cars still side by side up ahead of us, and we are now heading on to the very final lap of the race. So let's go full commentary on this and just see whether we can make up a final position then as we head into T1, looking now just to get as good an exit as we can down the corner curves. We're actually a little bit compromised up on the curbs there, so we've lost some momentum versus the cars up ahead. There are battles all the way through the field still here as we come now towards the old hairpin. We've got enough space to just roll the car in. We're going to have more momentum than the AI up ahead of us. That might give us the outside line then to carry up the hill, keep the momentum, get the throttle pinned, and then hopefully just drift the car around on the outside. That becomes the inside for the next corner. Make sure we're able to hit the apex. He's still on our outside, so I've got to give him room. This is fantastic racing, I've got to say, and eventually the position is ours. And then we're coming through then the final couple of corners. This will round out our 10-minute race. Absolutely lots of fun to be had here. Really encouraging sign. As I say, not the final version of the DLC, so some things may yet change. It would be great to see what some creators can make in terms of custom skins, because obviously part of the weakness of this is we don't have yet the full field from the championship last year, so it is for the time being going to be a mix of Toyotas and Infinitis. But as a first step along the way for this DLC, I'm certainly really encouraged that it's going to be something you can have lots of fun in. I've included in the description all of the purchasing options. There are a few different packs, a few different ways that you can buy the new DLC for the Q2 2022 content drop in rFactor 2. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see more from this DLC on the channel in the coming weeks, and more from rFactor 2 generally. But in the meantime, if you love touring car action, click the link and watch the video that's on screen now. I guarantee you'll love it.